confidence comes after surviving what you thought would break you. Today, let's talk about the man in the arena is bleeding. And if you're in the arena long enough, you're going to just take the hits. And that question isn't whether you'll get knocked down. The question is whether you'll stay. Maybe today isn't about proving your critics wrong, but maybe it's just simply about stepping back into your arena. At the end of your life, you won't regret the risks that have left scars. I mean, you're just going to regret these opportunities that you think about constantly that you never had the courage to pursue. Remember this. The arena is where purpose lives. The sideline? Well, that's where the excuses are made. Choose the arena, take the hit, get back up and live your 100. All right, let's go. If you're tired, not feeling fit, tired, just not having to focus, tired, just not having a life that you deserve, this is your place to be, and I'm Jason Yarusi. Today, let's talk about the man in the arena is bleeding. Have you ever noticed that just the largest critics are never the ones taking the biggest risks, are never the ones pushing the agenda? That person who's criticizing your business, who's never gone and ventured out alone. The person criticizing a marriage, who's never fought to save one. The person criticizing your leadership who has never had people depend on them. It's easy to have perfect opinions when nothing is on the line. You know, more than 100 years ago, Theodore Roosevelt gave a speech that became one of the greatest leadership lessons ever delivered. He said, "It is not the critic who counts. The critic belongs to the man actually in the arena, the one whose face is marred by dust, sweat, and blood." That image, it's always stuck with me because the one who's building anything meaningful, a business, a family, your faith, your health, you are going to bleed. And it may not be in the literal sense of actual blood, but emotionally, financially, mentally. You know, leadership, it costs something. Think about Ernest Shackleton. You know, in 1914, he set out to cross Antarctica. His ship, the Endurance, became trapped in ice and it was eventually crushed. That mission failed, but by every measurable standard, it was a disaster. But here's what Shackleton did that was extraordinary. He refused to let that failure define him. And for nearly 2 years, he kept his crew alive under impossible conditions, and not one man died. Imagine this. This isn't today where you had all this access to information, all this ability to make contact, right? You're out there alone in Antarctica without a ship, everything going against you, when most would have just turned around and said, you know what? Yes, that's it. Let's just call it a wrap. But to stand in there, right? And to push the narrative to get everyone home safe. Now, history remembers him not for what was completed with the expedition, but because he refused to abandon the people he was responsible for. That leadership, sometimes success isn't just always about accomplishing the original mission. And that's where most get sidetracked. We want to set out to have this perfect plan before we ever get started. But the ones who know, the ones who are in the thick of it, the ones who are in the arena know that the lessons learned are from the actions taken. That the plan that you set out with, right? Although we may in our mind think it's a great plan, is going to get adjusted, is going to get course corrected, is going to get deterred from day one. Sometimes success is just making sure everyone gets home. I've thought about that in business. There are deals that don't close, properties that don't perform, partnerships that disappoint you. And if you're in the arena long enough, you're going to just take the hits. And that question isn't whether you'll get knocked down. The question is whether you'll stay in the arena. Because quitting, it really does guarantee one thing. You'll never get another chance to win. One of that greatest misconceptions today is that confidence comes before the action. And it never does. Confidence comes after surviving what you thought would break you. We all want to feel confident in just how we're showing up without showing up. We want to just feel that confidence. And you don't become just fearless. You become experienced. You realize that what you've been through, the hard things before, is what frames you and what builds you. And you get through this one here and the next one and the next one too. And something that I've learned is that the people whose opinions hurt us the most are often the ones that honestly aren't building anything themselves. It's not arrogance, it's perspective. If someone has built a business, raised a family, led a team, recovered from failure, or carried real responsibility, the usual offering wisdom, not ridicule. But in most instances, they're so busy building that they don't even have time to pay attention to what you're doing. Experience creates empathy. Inexperience often creates criticism. So be careful whose voice gets inside access to your mind. Not every opinion deserves a seat at your table. Today, I want to ask you just one question. Where have you stepped out of the arena because of the tired nonsense that you get from people that are judging you? Was it in your business, your dreams, or your marriage, your fitness, your faith, even in your leadership? Maybe today isn't about proving your critics wrong, but maybe it's just simply about stepping back into your arena with the dust on your face, sears in your hand, and your heart still beating because here's what I need to do. At the end of your life, you won't regret the risk that have left scars. I mean, you're just going to regret these opportunities that you think about constantly that you never had the courage to pursue. Remember this. The arena is where purpose lives. The sideline? Well, that's where the excuses are made. Choose the arena, take the hit, get back up and live your 100. And honestly, that would be the most thing that you thank yourself for into the future. All right, that's what I have for you today. This is the Live 100 Podcast. I'm Jason Yarusi. Let's do this.